What is going on, everybody? Welcome in. Happy Sunday evening. My name's Eric Staniel. Welcome to Team Staniel Live, where we are talking all things real estate news and living in Cincinnati. So glad you're here. I'm excited to be here. I had a great week. I hope you had a great week too. I hope you're having a great evening, morning, afternoon, whenever you're watching this. Hopefully you can jump into the chat. If you are in the chat, first things first, as always, feel free to drop a line in and let us know where you're watching from. One of the things that's so fun about doing this channel, and I so am looking forward to these lives every week, is I get to chat with you who are watching from all over the country, sometimes all over the world, and you're thinking about moving here to Cincinnati, Ohio, and that's what we're trying to do on this channel, is let you know in this stream, answer your questions, give you a feel for the area, and help you understand what's going on in the real estate market so you can make a good choice, maybe understand the neighborhoods. So what are we doing tonight? Tonight, we are looking at different price points in different neighborhoods around Cincinnati and Northern Kentucky. We're going to look at three different brackets. Also going to give you just an update of what's going on in the real estate market in general in Cincinnati. What we're finding is that it continues to be super, super hot. One of the fastest selling real estate markets in the nation. So we got that going for us. We're also going to have a little fun. We're going to look at some of the luxury market sales and what's happening on the high end of the luxury market in Cincinnati and Cincinnati luxury homes, and a little bit of news for you that I think is exciting about some of the development that's going on in the Cincinnati area. So if you're watching, give us a shout out. Let us know where you're watching from. Feel free to drop in your questions in the chat. I wanted to show you guys, first of all, we're coming off a huge event on Friday night that we had. We've helped so many of you guys move to the area, and we're so honored that we get to help you move and kind of get to know and explore Cincinnati. And we had a huge event Friday night. We had over 200 people show up to the Reds game. We've been doing these events now for, since last fall. We thought, hey, we can do more than just real estate. Why don't we have some fun with our clients, and why don't we go do some cool things? So back last fall, we did an indoor golf simulator, and this is no charge to you guys. It's just like, hey, you're part of the clan, yo. Let's do some cool things. So we did a golf simulator indoor. We had a food truck there. That was awesome. We had like 80 people there. And then we went to the Newport Aquarium in February to try to break up the winter a little bit. And I think we had, 125, 150 people there or something like that. And Friday night was our biggest event yet. We did a Reds game. We had around 200 people there. Shout out to our amazing sponsors here. You can see who are helping. Lynn from Parkway Title and Matt from Supreme Lending. We had Andrew Collins from Fisher Homes. Here is the amazing Carrie Bance, who helped coordinate everything, and probably a lot of you guys have talked to. And we got all this new swag, which is super fun. So, we got, can you guys see this? The brand new t-shirts everyone got with the Roebling Bridge with our logo. So find your home, strengthen your family. We got the table underneath. So everyone got bubble gum, peanuts, t-shirts, just all kinds of fun stuff. And then we had a photographer there. So, all you guys we got some amazing shots of families getting to go to their first Reds game ever. Scrolling through here. Look, here's my mom and pops showing up, having a good time. And shout out to my parents who went over to their house today, took the kids, went to the pool. Check out this amazing gift that my mom got me. She was shopping down in Covington. She's representing the team Stanio and got me this sweet wood carving cutout of the Roebling Bridge. I love it. It's got to go. We got to figure out. We got a new shelf back here. You guys see this over here? So we got the family pics, and we've got a new banner up. So maybe we got to figure out where this goes. But I love this. Thank you, Mom. Super cool. Love that. And they got to come to the game, and look at all these families. My friends, the Schmoyers, this was their first professional sports game they've ever been to. And that was what was a lot of fun. Now, Schmoyers have lived here, so, shame on them for not having gone to a game yet, but they got a lot of kids. It's hard. I get it. But a lot of other people, taking their kids to the ballpark for the first time. We have former clients who have, part of the Stanio Clanio who were able to get to the game. Just so much fun. Now, here's the OG Stanio Clanio. Here's the group, guys. Here's my 5 kids and my wife. My wife got all the kids there by herself, which she's a superwoman. So good for her for doing that. Yeah, so just tons of fun. So glad. Thank you, all of you who were able to come out to this. We did not get the W. We lost in a pretty close game, 1-0, but we had a blast. Fun game. I mean, not very, low scoring defensive game, but we filled out the section. Stanio Clanio represented. Had some good plays at the plate here. Kids were having a good time, cheering. We had Friday night fireworks. Those are my in-laws, so they're having fun. I think there was a play at the plate that happened there, so they were excited. Just a great time. Look at that. I mean, that's good stuff right there. So thank you again to all the sponsors, Supreme Lending, Columbia Title, Fisher Homes. Who am I missing? Gerard Home Inspections, for making this night so much fun. And thank you to all of you who came out and had a good time. Awesome time. So that was fun. All right, let's get into tonight's content in terms of what's going on in the market here. Michael, what's up? Where are you watching from? Glad you're here. Alex, welcome back again. Red's got to get back on the winning way soon. No kidding. We got swept. By the Brewers. So need to bring that offense back, but we'll get it. We'll come back. All right, let's get into what's going on in the market. So you guys can see this. So a new Zillow report just came out showing Cincinnati keeps its crown as the nation's fastest selling housing market. So this just came out a couple of days ago. The Cincinnati housing market remains red hot with no signs of slowing down, according to a new housing market report, even as the national market reckons with a summer slowdown. Greater Cincinnati's housing market has maintained a fast pace throughout 2023, and Zillow June's housing report found it's still at the front of the pack on a national scale. The report found that while homes took longer to sell between March and June on a national level, Cincinnati remained the nation's fastest selling housing market, which is just crazy. People want to move to Cincinnati. People are scooping up homes, and the inventory continues to be low. In Zillow's June report, Cincinnati was named the nation's fastest selling market, with homes only listed for a median of 3 days. But in July, Cincinnati remained one of the hottest markets, with homes listed for a median of 4 days. It's now tied with Columbus and Kansas City. Do you see a trend there? There's other Midwest cities. I think, did I just publish a video about moving to the Midwest? If not, I just made it, but it's coming soon. But so many people are wanting to move to the Midwest, and it makes sense. That's why these markets are selling so fast. We're going to get into those different neighborhoods tonight, but it's also why we've brought up new construction. If you don't want to be in this fast-paced market, which can be a challenge, new construction can be an option for you there. So let's keep reading into this. The report and Cincinnati retaining its top ranking comes as the national average for days on market increased 1 day since June, a sign that competition for homes may be decreasing as the spring sales season slows down. So there's a little bit of seasonality to that, and that typically happens. We're getting towards the middle to the latter part of July, and what tends to happen is days on market extend a little bit more. What we tend to see is sellers see the pricing of their neighbors' houses that sold in the spring and early summer. They're like, well, if they got that, I should be able to do this. And so they might price a little bit high. That coupled with people who are starting, families especially, who are starting to hunker down for the start of the school year, you start to see days on market get a little bit longer as you move towards the late of summer, the tail end of summer. But the article says it's not the case in Cincinnati. During January, when the housing market typically sees a bit of winter slump, the median days on market for a home in Cincinnati was a week. From there, the median days on market each month has hovered between just 4 or 2 days. In June, the MLS data showed the median days on market was 3. The short number of days on market also matches Cincinnati's struggle to retain housing inventory. This is the real story, right? Zillow's report found new listings in Cincinnati were 27% lower in June than they were last year. Total inventory is down 22% from last year, and it's down 47% from 2019. So that is a trend we've talked about a lot on the channel. That's a trend that continues to happen. 2019, before COVID, inventory was low, and then demand just kept climbing. But what has happened in the, since last since last year now, as rates went up, a lot of people who might have sold for other reasons, maybe to cash out on the equity, but now maybe they locked into a rate at 3% a few months ago or last year, or maybe 2 years ago. And they're like, do I really want to sell my house and take on a 7% loan or 6.5%? No, we'll just stay where we're at. And that has kept inventory down in the area and really nationwide. And that's going to continue to be a problem, unless rates go down. That's going to be a problem for years to come, just because inventory is going to stay short like that. And you might see, it depends on your area, right? Depends on the city. All real estate is local, but at least here in Cincinnati, people are still wanting to move here because cost of living is good. It's affordable. It's a great place to raise a family. You've got great amenities. You've got great parks. You've got great arts, good music, good restaurants. And so a lot of people who can take their job are moving to Cincinnati and cities like it around the Midwest. And that's what we're continuing to see. The lack of new inventory has increased competition, driving up prices and making many buyers opt to pay in all cash to make their offers more competitive. Zillow's report found typical home values went up 1.7% from May to June. That's up 4% from last year. So you're continuing to see home prices go up, inventory is still low, and the days on market is still low overall in the market. So yeah, what do you guys think? Let me know. Continue to drop in your questions as we go. Let's go ahead and move over into some of these markets. I want to let you guys, we're going to do this on Zillow, and maybe as a realtor, it's not best to use Zillow, but because I was going to do this on the MLS, but we have 2 different MLS systems in Ohio and Kentucky. And to give you a good idea of the overall Cincinnati market, I want to show you both Northern Kentucky and Cincinnati and some different neighborhoods you might want to look at for these different price points. And the easiest way to do that is just this Zillow map here. So forgive me if we're not using the MLS, but we're going to look at Zillow. So this first one I looked at here, I know on the thumbnail I put like 350, 550, and 750. So I kind of want to look in those categories for homes, where you might be able to buy, how much house you can buy, kind of neighborhoods you're looking. And again, as we go here, feel free to drop questions in the chat. This first one I did in a range from 325 to 400, and I did 3+ bedrooms. If you wanted to do a 2-bedroom condo or townhome or something like that, you'll be able to get closer into the city. But something in this price point. So if you kind of look here, we'll start in Northern Kentucky, then we'll move over into Ohio. You're going to see a decent amount of homes around Independence, Kentucky. You'll see some out in Alexandria. You can see you're kind of further down away outside of the I-275 loop, more in the suburbs. This is a price point I think you'll see quite a bit in the Florence area as well. And you'll see homes like this that have, between maybe 1,800 to 2,400 square feet, something like that. Here's a home in Florence. It says 5-bedroom, but I'm sure one of those is pretty tiny upstairs. 5-bedroom, probably 2.5 bath, built in 2000. So you'll see a lot of these homes built in the 90s and 2000s. A floor plan like this, 2,400 square feet. You're going to have probably an unfinished basement, maybe a finished basement in this price point up to 400. So there's, you're going to find these homes in Florence, and Florence is great. I love Florence. I grew up in Florence. I went to Boone County High School. My parents still live in Florence. And in terms of, shopping and amenities, Florence, it's gotten a little crowded, I would say. It's pretty dense right now. And so if you're kind of tucked in there, the traffic can get to you. But the nice thing is you've got all the amenities you need. You've got Costco, you've got Sam's and Walmart and Kroger, and you've got all the shopping you need. You've got a mall. You've got everything you need around Florence. If you don't want to go, downtown, you got everything you need in Florence, Kentucky. So we looked at that home. Let's see if we can find a few more. Here's one in Edgewood. Again, 4-bed, 3-bath, 1,800 square feet. So you're a little bit closer into the city. This is a bigger lot, 70. Edgewood is built in 1975. So again, the closer you get into the city, the older the homes are going to be. And then as you kind of move out into the burbs, you'll get those homes built in the 80s, the 90s, the 2000s, things like that. Edgewood is a great town, walkable, great parks. It's, was just named one of the best. I think it was named in USA Today the best city to live in all of Kentucky. So Edgewood is a great place to live. But again, you're going to get this home probably built in the 70s or 80s. Whereas like if you're out here, like in Oak Brook, which is kind of technically part of Florence, we just looked at that one. Let's see if we can find another one. Trying to get a square footage here. Here's one for 325. That's looks like a ranch kind of tucked away. That's actually in Burlington, Kentucky. So 1,700 square feet, built in 1995, 2-car garage, 0.37 acre lot. So that's what you're seeing on the Kentucky side. Okay. And you're going to find homes like that anywhere, like I said, from 300 to 400 in the Florence area, in Independence. You can, as you're getting closer to downtown, like something in Park Hills, you can find in this price point, but your square footage is going to go down. So you're going to find a house built in the 20s or 30s. Like I said, they're going to be a little bit older. So you're basically, and this is going to be a theme for the night, you're basically trading, as you get closer into the city, you're going to trade the age of the home, and you're usually going to trade square footage for price. So the further out, I mean, and this isn't only, Cincinnati, Northern Kentucky. This is probably most cities. But as you get closer into the city, you're going to find a home more like this little, this Craftsman Sears. This looks like my first house ever, actually. I bought in Anderson Township on the east side. Very similar to this house. So it's a 3-bed, 2-bath, 1,265 square feet, built in 1936. And this is in Park Hills, Kentucky. So you're going to have hardwood floors. They're going to creak. Like when you go through it, you're going to have a fireplace that may or may not work. So it's going to be a smaller space, but you're going to be, like 8 minutes from downtown or less, from here, as opposed to if you're out in Florence, you might be 20, 25 minutes from downtown, more suburb feel. So you're going to get more charm in Park Hills, Fort Wright area. And then if you get closer down, down in Newport or Covington or Bellevue, now you're going to see homes that are even older. So you're going to get homes built in 1886. And a lot of these homes are being remodeled. In fact, this looks like a home that might have been remodeled by one of my friends I think my friend remodeled this one. It looks like his handiwork here on Columbia Street. So you see, and I toured this home. I remember showing this home. But you're going to get high ceilings. You're going to get stone foundations. Oh my gosh, guys, I'm sorry. I'm not showing you this home at all. Did I even show you the Park Hills home? What a rookie live streamer I am. This was the one in Park Hills I was showing you guys, or I was trying to show you guys, but I didn't show you. Thanks for not jumping off the stream. Here's in Park Hills, 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 1,200 square feet, hardwood floors. You're going to have all 3 bedrooms upstairs. You're going to have probably an unfinished basement that's going to be a low ceiling in the basement, but you're going to be close to downtown. And then you can get even closer downtown into something like this in Newport. That's going to be a redone late 1800s, maybe early 1900s. And again, lots of character, lots of charm. You're going to be walkable, but you're going to be drafty. It's going to be, stone foundation. It depends on the level of the flip. Okay. So these could be done up into the 500s, 600s, 700s, and 800s. And we'll look at those price points too. And you can tell the difference when you go through them. But if you want to be in that walkable area, now, if you flip over to the Ohio side, it's hard to get a lot of these. You have the Rhine section over in Evanston. You're going to see some of these as well, built in the late 1900s. Evanston is a really interesting area, I think, because you can get these huge homes. This one, not so much. But as we jump up in price point, you'll see these really large homes, 3,000 square feet, things like that. But in this price point, in 300, you're not going to get a ton downtown. You might find a few in Norwood, but they're not going to be the higher end flips. They're going to be a little older, 1,900, a little smaller. But a lot of people do like Norwood because, again, the location is great to get into downtown, to get in over to Oakley, to over the Rhine, in terms of the amount of jobs that are in, uptown here by the university and all the hospitals that are in the uptown area. Norwood really is a great central location in the city. So here's another one in Norwood at 390. Again, you're flippers are going to try to open these up, but this is more of a shotgun kind of house, built in 1895. You've got 2,300 square foot overall, but as you get in it, it's going to be kind of this narrow look, right? Which is great. Like you can make it work, and you can tell they've opened up some walls here on this flip, which is great here in Norwood. And they redid the kitchen. So this is a really nice home that they did. But older home that's going to be renovated, you can find something cheaper that's not renovated, obviously. Um, but this is what something might look like closer to town. This is at 390. They actually had it up over 400 and they've dropped the price. Now, other places in this price point around Cincinnati area, I kind of want to show you. You can find something in Anderson Township, which you got great schools in the Forest Hill School District. So you can find something here around Julius Park. Now, a lot of these homes in Anderson are going to be built in the 60s and 70s. So kind of like that Park Hills feeling, maybe even Edgewood that you're getting in Anderson in this price point. So this is a bi-level. You've got 1, 2, 3 bedrooms up here. You're going to have your family room and kitchen on this level. Then you're going to have either a 4th bedroom or a little rec room down in the basement, laundry in the middle, and garage on the other side. This is a very standard floor plan that you see all over Cincinnati, this little bi-level layout here. And they got a nice patio in the back. There's your hardwood. So here's exactly what I said. Your family room upstairs. They actually got a little dining room here, and then the kitchen in the back corner, bedrooms upstairs. So that's one option. You can find these in Anderson. They usually go pretty quick because the school district is so strong in Forest Hills. You're going to find more of these just as you cross the line from Hamilton to Claremont County and move out towards Amelia. So in this price point, and I used to live over in this area too. I went and looked at my first house, not that I lived in, but when I was doing when I was a young life leader outside of college, I lived in a house with 8 guys. We called it the Ocho. And I went over and stopped by that house the other day. But you're going to find houses out in Amelia. This is actually a newer home. This is a new build. So you got some new construction. Let me see here. But 325. Let me try to find another one here. Maybe I'm looking more in Batavia. But here we go. Here's Batavia. 4-bedroom, 3-bath at 2,400 square feet. This is actually, similar to what that feeling you're going to have in Florence or Independence, maybe even a little bit bigger out here in Amelia. So this one was actually built in 2018. So the floor plan's a little bit more open than those that you might find built in the early 2000s. So there's a feeling there. And then on the north side of the city, other places you might have similar feelings are here in Milford, some out in Loveland, up here in Hamilton as well. Kind of north side of Westchester, Liberty Township. So this home built in the early 2000s, again, 3-bedroom, 3-bath, 2,100 square feet. So there's that 350-ish, price point and what you're gonna find. Let's jump up from there. And again, we can go through if you have questions about these neighborhoods, about what they look like. Like here's Florence, Kentucky, for example. It's got a B+ grade overall, B schools, housing, good for families, B+, but it's rated 6 in Boone County overall, whereas Union and Francisville, or this is kind of the Hebron area that I showed in my latest video, is ranked number 1 and number 2. And so if we're looking at that, I'm not trying to push you to Northern Kentucky. I'm just showing you different price points on both sides of the river. So I just did a video last week that came out kind of on Hebron, but really the neighborhoods I was showing were over here in Thornwild, which is technically on niche.com, Francisville. And so here are some of those homes. So now you're jumping up, instead of like 1,800 to 2,400 feet, you're jumping up to 2,900 feet. Here's new construction, 4-bedroom, 3-bath. Let me see what I can find that is not new construction. I would imagine you're going to get a little bit more square feet in this price point. And I bet you can actually get it a little less. Let me go down here. Let me jump down to 400 and see what we have here. Homes are going fast, so it's hard to find them on here. But here's a 5-bedroom, 5-bath, 3,200 square feet, built in 1998. So here's the difference in the price point. From that 350 range, as you're jumping up to kind of the 5. This is even under 500. But let me scroll back down and let me jump this back up, because I want to show you the neighborhood you might be looking at in Northern Kentucky. Some in Hebron, some in Florence. Like if you're in Florence, you're getting more square feet. You're getting 3,300 square feet, new construction there. But you're going to find a lot of these homes in this price point down in Union. something like this. So, okay, here's a triple crown home, 2 days on Zillow, 5-bedroom, 4-bath, 4,800 square feet. Now, that's got to be including the basement. This is built in 2001, 2-car garage, brick. This is a house you'll find, very common in Hebron. So you got a kind of a 2-story living room here, and this is in that 500 to 600 price point. So you've got that early 2000s, furniture and look. So some people aren't going to like that. You're going to want to redo it. But in terms of the square footage, in price point, what you're jumping up there from that 350 to 400 range is a house like that in Union, Kentucky. Let me try to find another one here. Here's a pavilion court. Here's a price cut, 4-bedroom, 3-bath, 3,000. So the other one was probably closer to this 3,000 square feet, maybe 3,200 on the first floor, or on the first and second floor. And they were probably including a finished basement in that. A lot of people have questions about finished basements as well. But here's what the house looks like in the 500s in Northern Kentucky, right? And now if you're going on niche and you're jumping from Florence to Union, which is ranked the #1 best place to live in Boone County. Why is that? You've got an overall niche grade of an A instead of a B+. So schools are going to be a little bit better. Diversity is going to be about the same. Everything else is going to be a little bit similar, but you're getting a little bit more house. You're getting a little better schools and just a little bit better ranking in that 500 to 600 range, living in Union than if you're living in Florence, Kentucky. So I know a lot of my friends who bought their first house in Florence now, and then they moved to Union. So there's an example of that house. Let's move over to the Ohio side and show you guys what neighborhoods you might be looking at now. Now, again, you can find these houses closer into the city, but they're going to be, here's a 2,000 square foot home for $599 on Woodmont Avenue for 2,000. Yeah, built in 1909. So again, you're going to have an older house, but it's going to be redone, and you're going to have that great location. So if you want the location with a little bit tighter of a house in an older home, you can find that in areas like Norwood, like Kenwood, like Hyde Park, things like that, like Oakley. But if you're jumping out into the burbs, you're going to find houses out in Loveland. Well, this one's a little shorter. Let's see here. Loveland, Mainville area. Here's one, 3,300 square feet. So again, the homes in Union are going to be kind of similar to the ones you're going to see in Loveland, in Mason, in Westchester. If we go over to Westchester here, let me look at this one. Yep, has the same similar feel. Built in 1990, 3,898 square feet, 4-bedroom, 4-bath in Westchester. And if you pop over to niche.com, Chester Township in Ohio, it's an A+ rating, great schools, great for families, good diversity, great cost of living, great nightlife, outdoors, in your commute. So Westchester and Mason are always, just to show you what Mason looks like on here. Mason is rated, the #1 best place to live in Warren County, A+ grading, A+ schools. It's a very popular place to be. To get in Mason in this price range, you can do it, but they're gonna go fast, because Mason is going to be a place where, because the schools are so good, because the city is designed so well, a lot of people are going to be moving in there. There's a reason. The article I read you on Cincinnati being the fastest real estate market, you're going to see something like that in Mason. Here's a home that is built, again, late 90s, early 2000s. You're going to see a lot of those, 3,900 square feet. Let's see. I haven't showed you the basements yet. But this one has a walkout basement. They don't have a lot of photos of it, so it might not look great. Let me try to find you another one here in this price point. A little bit of a smaller home, 2,800 square feet. They are dropping that price. So you can find some of those. Like I said, if sellers have gotten a little too aggressive and they are priced a little bit too high, and they've been on the market for, how long has this guy been on the market? For 31 days. It's because they shot it a little too high. And so these are ones, if you don't want to go new construction and you're not going to find a quote unquote deal, right? You're not going to find something 25% off. That just doesn't exist in the market right now. We don't have the foreclosures. We don't have the inventory. It's not going to happen. But if you can find something like this that people have passed on for one reason or another, it's either they priced it too high. That it's always they priced it too high, right? If it's priced lower, someone's going to buy it. But there might be something, there might be some work that needs to be done. What you can see online is not always what you can see in person. So even if the photos look great, you might get it in there. You might find something that's like, oh, they didn't shoot this in the photography. Yeah, because they're trying to sell the house and they're not going to show you their worst thing in the house. More than likely, this one's just it's just priced a little bit high. Here's a basement for you. A lot of you people who move here, you're like, basements, ooh. This is an unfinished basement. You can see over here the rough plumbing, so you could put in a bathroom. You could frame this up. This is your furnace, your gas line coming into your furnace. You've got access to all of your electric and plumbing right now, but you can finish all this out. What you'll see a lot of times when people finish these basements in the ceilings is you'll see a drop ceiling so that you can get access back to this plumbing and electric easily in case there's a leak, or you need to do something with it. Maybe you want to run a gas line to the stove in the kitchen or something like that without having to tear up a bunch of drywall. But you can see, I don't know what's going on over here. That looks like it might be a little water in the basement. I don't know. And maybe that's why it's not selling. So, okay. That's a look at price points so you can find something in Mason. You can find something definitely in Westchester in this price point, that 500 to 600 range. Loveland's another great area that people love on the east side of town. Let me jump into Anderson Township here real quick, because that's another popular area. Up here on the north side of Anderson, Turpin Hills, you're going to be in Turpin High School. Down here, you're going to be at Anderson High School, both really highly graded. In fact, that looks like real quick. A+ grade overall. A for the schools, good for families. One of the things I like about Anderson Township in general is it's easy to pop into downtown in multiple ways. So you can either pop out on 52 or 50 west into downtown this way, or you can hop onto 275 and take 471 in. And so I always just prefer to have multiple traffic routes or multiple ways to get home. And so I really like that about Anderson Township, is that whereas if you're going to Mason or Westchester, you've kind of got one route. Now you could pop up 71 or 75 and then cut over if you need to. So that is one option, but I do like that about Anderson. You're close to downtown and you've got a couple ways to get in and out. Now let's look at this home right here. 525 in Turpin, built in 1967, 2,300 square feet. So again, because you're a little bit closer into town, the price point is up a little bit. Now these guys, they priced it too high because they just dropped it by $30K. So they haven't sold yet. And they're like, oh no, we haven't sold yet. We need to get it sold. I want to see what else you can find here in Anderson. Not a lot of inventory, guys. Okay, here's one over in Kingston Hill, 2,300 square feet, 4-bed, 3-bath, built in 1985. So a lot of homes in Anderson Township built in the 70s and 80s. Great photos on this one. That's a pretty home. Landscaping is really nice, brick. But there's your 80s floor, right? It brings me back. Makes me want to go to Mike Beagle's house and play Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Yep. Lots of wood. That wood trim. That brick fireplace. So there's a house in Anderson Township. Obviously, it's moving. You can move in like this, or you can make the updates as you go if you want to update the look there. All right, let's go to our last bracket of housing here. Thank you guys for jumping on to the channel. Again, feel free to leave any questions or comments you have in the chat. Would love to interact with you guys here as we go. So now we're popping up to 725 to 875. And let's just stay in that Mason area and see what we're getting here for that price point. So 740, 5-bedroom, 4-bath. Now you are at 4,100 square feet, brick, home built in 2005. You've got a 3-car garage. You've got nearly a half-acre lot. So that's what this house looks like when you're jumping up 200 grand. You're getting that extra 1,000 square footage Basically, you're probably getting, see if I can find that finished basement in here as well. So instead of a basement that has just wood everywhere and framing and you got to do the work, you've got it. Here's what that basement looks like. That's finished with carpet down on the floor. A lot of these will have wet bars down there as well. This looks like a full bathroom in the basement, 3-car garage, nice large driveway pad with the Gorilla backboard, popular for me in the 90s with all my friends as we like to play NBA Jam and think ourselves amazing basketball players that we weren't. Okay, let's look at it a little bit more. So there's one in Mason for $740. Let's jump over to Westchester, what that looks like. Going to be similar style, right? 4,600 square feet. There's the pool in the back. That looks nice. There's a little, stone fire pit in the back. You're right off the golf course in this price point, 700 and up. Built in 2006, 2-car garage, still only a 1/4 acre on this one. That looks like a first floor, an extra bedroom on the first floor. So you got 5 bedrooms. So you've got potential mother-in-law room there or guest bedroom off the first floor. Here is your master suite, a little bit of a tray ceiling there. What the bathroom looks like at 700. So they haven't really updated that, but nice large walk-in closet. They got a loft area on the second floor. This looks like a bedroom in your basement. You got your gym in the basement. So you can see that you're underground here because you got your well windows. Nice covered patio in the back. This is something I would like to do in my house. There's your fire pit that I saw from above, and a beautiful pool. So that's what you're getting at the 700 range in Westchester. Now, again, you can get these if you're going to get closer into town. Let's say Madisonville. Is this new construction? Yeah, this is fairly new. Let me try to find something here that let's get even closer in. Let's get to Hyde Park. Okay, so 2,300 square feet. I think I toured this home. Again, you're just trading location and you're trading neighborhood for size of home as you get closer into the city. So Oakley, Hyde Park, Walnut Hills, even over the Rhine. Now over the Rhine, generally not going to be single family housing as much. You can find some, but a lot of it's gonna be that mixed retail feel to it. Here's on Ray Street. Now you're walkable to everything, but you're back built in 1875. So everything down close to the river, because that's how Cincinnati was developed, both in Newport and Covington and over the Rhine. This is where everything was developed. You're going to be late 1800s, early 1900s. My home, so as they pushed out a little bit, I'm in Fort Thomas, was built in 1905. And then you just kind of keep going back, right? As you make your way out of the city, you're going to get homes built in the 20s, 30s, 40s. And then you can find some pocket new construction here and there. Now, Lakeside Park on the Kentucky side, what does that look like? In Fort Mitchell. Fort Mitchell is another great community in Northern Kentucky. So beyond Fort Thomas, Fort Mitchell has the other top-ranked schools in Northern Kentucky. It's the #1 best place to raise a family in Kenton County because it's got great schools in the Beechwood School District there, and you're super close to downtown. You're right here, and so you've got that great access. You're less than 10 minutes to downtown in Fort Mitchell, but the home again is going to be 2,800 square feet, and versus if you go out to the burbs in Union or in Mason, you're over 4,000 square feet. So it's just what you want, but you get a lot of character and charm. The home was built in 1940, so you've got the age of home. And you've got the size of home as you go out. It just depends on what you want. If you want to be closer in, you want the charm and the character, you're going to want Fort Mitchell, Walnut Hills, Hyde Park, Oakley, Fort Thomas, even Newport, Covington, Bellevue. If you want the more suburbia feel and the larger home and larger lots, you're going to want Mason and Westchester and Anderson Township and Loveland and Milford. And I haven't, you can find great homes on the west side too. I don't want to shortchange the west side. You actually probably get even more square footage on the west side. But it's going to have, it will have a little bit of a different feel than, it's a little bit more spread out on the west side is what I would say. So looking at these houses, we saw one in Mason. Just want to show you guys one down in, in Union. What does this look like inside of Triple Crown? Well, that's a new construction. Hang on a sec. See if we can find something off the golf course here. Here's 735. Built in 2015. Man, there's just not much for sale. Let me pop up on price point just to show you guys what it looks like inside of Triple Crown on the golf course. Here's 1.1. I actually have someone who's interested in this house. This is built in 2002, 5,000 square feet, 4-bed, 4-bath. They just had a price cut. 3 attached garage, 0.66 acres, and you're right off a hole of one of the nicest private clubs in all of Cincinnati area, Triple Crown golf course. So obviously we're bumping up above 750 here, but this is what $1 million home looks like in Northern Kentucky. And you could find a home similar to this again on East Side in Anderson Township, up in Mason. If you're bumping up into that $1 million price range, what does that look like? So that's feel for this home. Let me see what anything else from the exterior photos look like. Yep, and you get, you can be a part of the pool and the country club and all that good fun stuff for your family if that's something you're looking for. Alex said, I chose the Central Business District, CBD. Somebody told me this week that I should do a video on all the acronyms for Cincinnati that you guys don't know about, which I think that would make a lot of sense. Alex, what's some of the common lingo of Cincinnati that people from outside of the area wouldn't know? But Alex chose CBD for all the conveniences. The herbs are Oakley and Hyde Park. Yeah. And that's if you're a young professional, and I want to do a video on that, young professional who's like, I don't have the family yet. I know I'm kind of family central on this channel. Sorry about that. As a dad of 5 kids, that's usually what I'm thinking about. But if you're a young professional, it might make a lot more sense to be in that more central business district, whether that's downtown, somewhere like Pendleton, over the Rhine. I love the Pendleton area. I think it's so cool. And all the new development that's happening down there, or Oakley, or Hyde Park, East Walnut Hills, Norwood, on the Kentucky side, Covington, Newport, even Bellevue to an extent. If you want to be even more affordable, you could head over to Dayton, Kentucky as well. So a lot of options. Just depends on what you're looking for. Okay, looking at this, we'll wrap up here in a little bit. We're going. Appreciate you guys all. There's 15 of you watching. Thanks for watching. Hello, can you please? What's up, Sweetha? Can you please let me know more about new communities in Mason? Yeah, they come every now and then, but they're rare. I'll try to get something out there soon. I mean, where you're going to see most of new communities in Mason, I don't know if there's a lot of new communities in Mason, honestly. Where a lot of the new construction is going is north of Mason, because that's where they still have the land. And so you'll see some new communities up here more in the South Lebanon area, because there's still some land inside of Mason. There's not a ton of new communities going on. But I'll try to look into that a little bit more and see if I can find something for you. But thank you for that question. Okay. We were looking at that higher price point. I did want to show you guys, just because it's fun. Who doesn't like looking at mansions being sold, right? But this is interesting to me from just the real estate market too. But Cincinnati luxury home sales hit a record high for 2023 in June. So just hit the headlines here. Continues to make waves as it remains a red hot summer. We just talked about that earlier in the show tonight. Home sales in Butler, Claremont, Hamilton, and Warren County shot up 8% in June from May, with a total of 1820. That's just really talking about units sold, and that's to be expected. We kind of see that every year in terms of when the most amount of homes are sold. It's usually in May, or May and June. The median sales price for a home sold during June was also up, rising less than 1% to $300,000 from $299 in May. This marks the first time this year the median sales price hit that figure. That's also 3.8% higher than June 2022. So the hard thing is, for all of you people who are waiting for prices to go down, or maybe have been waiting for a few years, or you're waiting for interest rates to go down, I just don't see it happening. We just keep going year after year of that not happening because the inventory is not there. And I know it stinks to have a higher interest rate, but you're also missing out on the appreciation that continues to happen each year. Now, at the top of the market, 6 homes sold for $2 million or more in June, with the top sale reaching $3.1 million. The average sale price for the top 10 homes in June skyrocketed up more than 20% from the average in May. That's a big deal. The average sale price, so it went up. So these higher end sales happen more in June. The most expensive home sales included properties in Anderson Township, Indian Hill, and Mount Lookout. And that's where we see them a lot, especially Indian Hill. So let me show you guys these homes. We'll dig into this slideshow here. Here's one in Indian Hill for $1.6 million, Mount Lookout for $1.7 million. This home, I actually went and visited this home. Some friends in my office here, Doug and Debbie and John Burbrick, helped with this home. And they did a complete rehab on that one in Indian Hill. Went for 1.8. Another one in Indian Hill at 1.8. Another one in Indian Hill. I think this is kind of across the street from that other one, for $2 million on Old Hickory Drive. Here's one in Anderson Township for $2.1 million off of Ayers Road. $2.2 million in Ayers. Debbie Martin again, who's in our office. Congrats, Debbie. Holly Hill. This one went for $2.5 million. It's got a little bit more of that modern look to it. Indian Hill for $3 million. So you're seeing the theme here in Indian Hill. And this one doesn't have the large photos, so they probably maybe even sold that off market. I don't know. This one for 3.1, also in Indian Hill. And that's all of them. So those are the top 10. So that was fun looking at Indian Hill. There's one near Cotel Park. Let me see what I know about that real quick. I'll have to look this one up. I'm not sure I know too much about this one. I'll have to look that one up for you. Yep, before we get into that. So sorry I couldn't do better on that. How much negotiating power, Anik, does the buyer have for new construction homes? Good question. Not a lot, if I were to be honest. Now, where you do have some negotiating power is when it comes to, it's usually not a lot on price, is what I should say. Because if you think about it as a builder, they don't want to come off of their price because they're selling more homes in that neighborhood they're building out. So they don't want to show that some buyer beat them up on price. Now, if a home is being built, and particularly if it's a market home that they haven't sold yet, that's where you might have a little bit more negotiating power. If it's a new neighborhood where they have demand, they're usually not going to give a ton of incentives for the new lots. They're going to let that kind of do its own thing and let the demand take it. But if it's a market home that they're like, oh, we got to get this one off the books, where they're going to give you a little bit of negotiating power, and it's somewhat negotiating power. It's somewhat, they have these numbers so locked in on their side. It's more about, you can ask, and sometimes because we do have good relationships with a lot of builders, so sometimes I can help get my buyers a little bit more credit. Now that might be a little bit more in terms of what you can get in upgrades on the house and incentives, or it might be what builders often do is they're working with an in-house lender, and right now what they're doing a lot is they'll give points towards a buy down on the rate. That seems to be very attractive for them. Now, I always tell my buyers to shop both the builder's lender and the lenders that we work with a lot, and to compare apples to apples, because just because there's a buy down on the rate doesn't mean you're not paying for that in points or fees on the front end. So just watch that. But that can be a really good deal. And some of the builders where you are getting more discounts, it's going to be with the rate, or it's going to be with money off for any upgrades that you're doing in the house. In terms of just negotiating on the price, where where you might see that is, like I said, if there's a market home that's been sitting that hasn't sold, that's where you might get them to come off the price a little bit. Good question. Thanks for asking. Okay. We are closing in on 50 minutes. So sorry for that. I want to hit just one more study, and then we'll bounce off here for the night. But just a little piece of news that I found interesting. There's a big development project happening in the Cincinnati area where they got funds nationally from a secondary bridge that's going to go alongside the Brent Spence Bridge, because from Cincinnati's at a place where a lot of cargo goes from Michigan, Pennsylvania, New York, all the way down to Florida and other states. And a lot of that bottlenecks on this one bridge right here. And now there's a group called Bridge Forward. We've got the funds, but what they're trying to do is, hey, we've got a chance right now to redo this plan and maybe open up a little bit more space downtown where we can have more acreage for development. And so that's what this Bridge Forward proposal is trying to do. What I find really interesting about it is it's being promoted by the current mayor as well as two former mayors, both John Cranley and Mark Mallory. And that's a Republican and a Democrat, as well as the, who is it? From Fisher Homes here. Let me see if I can find that. Greg Fisher, the chairman. So he's the chairman of the board of the region's largest home builder, Fisher Homes, funded a study where they can show how much economic development is going to happen if we can change this plan a little bit going forward. So if you look at this photo here, what they're trying to do, basically right now, this is a big spaghetti mess of highways going down to the current bridge. And what they're trying to do is like, hey, we can rework this. We can have this plan where we free up some of these spaces and these exit ramps to the different streets downtown. And we can create this extra space for development that we wouldn't have otherwise. And this, we only kind of get one shot of this every, 50 years or something like that. So why don't we slow down? We've got these funds, and let's try to put some money into these plans where we can capture more of this development. We've seen such a cool renaissance downtown, the banks, in terms of where the stadiums are, in terms of what's happening between Great American Ballpark and Paycor Stadium, and then up through over the Rhine. Why not do more of it? And then also on the west side where FC Cincinnati is. And so I think I hope they get this done where they can kind of be like, hey, let's take our shot, let's step back, let's get this designed, get all the the economic impact, but also the environmental impact studies done that needs to be done so that we can get this in play. I think that would be really, really cool. All right, guys, I am jumping off. Thank you so much for watching. Again, if this content is helpful for you, if you love watching these, please give it a thumbs up down below. Be sure to subscribe to the channel. That would mean the world to me. It really does help this broadcast go out to more and more people who are thinking about moving to the city. And if you are looking at moving to the area, hit us up. There's contact info in the description below. Thank you guys so much for watching this one. I hope you have an awesome week. And we'll try to be back around next week and give you some more great stuff about living in Cincinnati. Have a great night. See ya.